It is started, yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
we're going to get started here in just a second, everybody. I just want to say, first off, if you're going to be watching, hello. We're going to be flipping around cameras a little bit and letting you see everybody, but we're going to wait just another 30 seconds to a minute and just let a few people kind of join in and jump in. If you are watching this live, just remember that you can actually be typing in some comments in the chat box. Chris will be moderating the chat box for us and watching to make sure if anybody has any comments or questions, we will relay them to our guest. And we're going to introduce our guest here in just a moment. So, Chris, you want to say hi real quick?
Hello, everyone. Thank
There's
you for
Chris.
joining us. This is me.
This is our first one doing this, and we're I don't want to say we're nervous. It's just hopefully everything goes smooth. So we're just kind of waiting to see with that. And we do have several guests from the movie with us that we'll be introducing here in just a moment once we make sure we've got everything started for everyone. So again, this is our first live stream, first discussion with the Footcandle Film Festival for 2020. So we're very excited with that. And I can tell our guests are super excited to jump in here and be a part of this too. So that's great. We'll just have them in here and joining us. Hopefully you had a chance to watch Drought. If you didn't watch Drought already, I mean, I think the questions are still going to be interesting, but maybe not as much. So, obviously you can go back and watch the film and come back and watch this pre-recorded conversation after you watch the film later in the week. But for those of you that have watched it today or watched it just at the 7 o'clock time that we recommended, we hope you'll be joining us here and ready to go. Chris, do we have anybody hopping in yet?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, people are here. Perfect. It is working. What do you know? This is great.
Yay,
all right.
Technology.
Yay. And I think we're officially at 8:45, right?
Yes.
Oh, man. Things are running right now. Okay, guys. So without further ado, first off, hello, everybody. Again, Footcandle Film Festival. You've got Alan and Chris is right over there. We are properly socially distanced from one another here in the studio. So that's why we have the two cameras set up between us. But let's not waste any time and go ahead and turn it over and welcome our guests for this discussion. We have with us the stars, the writers, the directors. I'm sure they probably played a lot of other roles in this film as well. Everything you can imagine. With us here are the stars, writers, and directors of Drought. And we'll go ahead. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. So over in the top left corner, we've got Hannah Black. She played Sam. She's also one of the directors and screenplay, correct? Is that right, Hannah? Okay, good. Yeah. And then over in the right-hand corner, we've got Megan Petersen. She played Lillian, and she's also the director, co-director. And you were also story writer as well?
Yes, creator.
Creator, okay, good. I want to make sure I get everybody's roles correct here. And then in the bottom left corner, we've got Owen Scheid. Did I get it right? Scheid? Perfect. Owen, how you doing?
Good.
Great. Good to see you here. And Owen was obviously played Carl in the film, so you may remember if you just watched the film today and saw that. And then over in the bottom right corner, we've got Drew Scheid, who played Lewis. Hey, Drew, how you doing?
How you doing?
Good. So we're really happy to have all of you here. This is really exciting. Again, this is our first year going with a virtual festival. And as much as we would have loved to have had you guys all here in Hickory interacting with everybody, we understand the situation why we can't do that. So this is the next best thing. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of ask you a little bit about the film, let you guys talk some background about it. And then Chris is going to see where we have some comments and questions from the audience, and we'll get you guys going with that. Okay. So let me just start off first. First off, I just want to say I did really love the film. Chris and I are both big fans of it. As anybody may or may not remember, this is a film that you, the Film Society members and festival attendees from last year, actually helped contribute to. So you actually helped make this film happen. They were one of the recipients of our Filmmaker Grant Awards back last year. So we're really happy to have seen the film and to see how well it turned out. And kudos to all of you guys for putting this together. Let's talk a little bit about just kind of the genesis of the project. I know you had kind of an interesting, fun, exciting path to get to the film. Maybe Hannah, Megan, if you guys could just, either one of you talk a little bit, or both of you, talk a little bit about just kind of the genesis of this idea. Was this an idea you had well before the competition and the grant process? And kind of how long has it been in fruition, and how long did it take to get done? So.
Sure. So Megan and I met in Meisner class. We're actors first, and we met in a 2-year Meisner program. During that time, our amazing teacher, Ron, really just encouraged us to create our own content. During that time, Megan and I discovered we loved working together. And shortly after graduating that program, we had just wrapped our first short film, and we were like jazzed. We knew that we loved working together. We knew it was a really special thing we had with each other. And I came to Megan with this idea, like a very small idea. Basically, I was like, I think there's a movie about these siblings and they're storm chasing. And I think the brother is on the autism spectrum. I think it's 1993. And Megan was like, this is great. I think this is a feature, not a short film. And so with that, and that was in 2015, we would meet every Tuesday night and we would card out the story. I would go write 5 pages, send it to Megan. We would discuss. And we did that until we had our first draft within a month. And we were so happy and excited. We were like, let's shoot it. But our friends read it and we're like, let's keep on working on it. And we're so grateful that they encouraged us, because that, it was essentially a 2.5-year writing process for us, where we were just doing rewrites over and over for the story. And then we did the Hometown Heroes competition for Seed and Spark. And that, I'll let Megan take it from there.
That really, that sent us on our way for sure. We were wanting to play roles in the film. And so we were really researching how to get it funded, because we were getting older and we needed to film it while we were, a certain age. And so we were looking at making a short film to help get investors for the project when Hannah saw that article in Known Film School for the competition for Seed and Spark. And it was just the heart behind the film. It was for a local cast and crew, in which we filmed with all North Carolina cast and crew. And so we really resonated with the competition and decided that would be the route we went for funding, between the competition and awesome grant programs like the Footcandle Film Society Filmmaker Grant that helped us finish our film.
So can I ask you, the connection with your 2 other guests here, the other Shide boys here, maybe you can tell me a little bit about just the connection and kind of how they got involved in the project as well?
Sure. So we were gearing up to cast the feature, and we knew our Lewis character would just have a particular voice and essence. And that is when I was taping auditions at a taping studio here in town, and Mr. Drew Shad walked in to tape an audition, and just his some of his natural essence came through as like, whoa, I think he could play the character of Lewis. Of course, Lewis is a character. It's not Drew, but there was just some of that similarity.
Energy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I got connected with Drew, and we had him read for the role. And then Hannah, if you want to talk about Owen.
Yes. So essentially, Drew, I'm so sorry, Drew. Sometimes we never even did an audition. We're like, hey, why don't you come to this table read and you can just read for Lewis?
Like, and you're in.
and he didn't know, but really that was like his audition. It was really cool. We taped the table read, and us and then our editor, who had read the script from the very first draft, as soon as Drew opened his mouth for his first line, all of us were like it was just it. We fell in love with them. So anyway, after that, we were basically like, hey, so do you want to play Lewis? And he was like, sure. And then we obviously he read the whole script, and he told us later, he was like, hey, like I have a brother and I really think he'd be great for Carl. And we're like, okay, sure, send him in. We didn't know Owen. We didn't know. And of course we trusted Drew, but we're like, this is too good to be true, because this story is about siblings, and to have real life siblings in the movie, it's just like, what? This is incredible. So poor Owen, he came in, he did his audition. He was so good, but we were like, nah, there's no way. So we had all these other people, and there was a lot of really, really great talent as well. All these other people were coming to audition because we didn't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. And, so anyway, he blew us away, and we were talking, we're like, I don't know, like we truly had the conversation. This feels too good to be true. He needs to come in for a callback. Yeah. So we came in for the callback, and we were just like, I think this is just it. Nothing has been easy for this whole thing. How can this casting our two leads that we were so worried about? How can we possibly find these people? They're right here, and they're brothers, and they both knocked it out of the park. So the brothers shied. There they are. That's how we met them. That's how they were cast.
Perfect.
Feel too good to
Yeah, so I've got a question from Elijah Goring. He wants to know from his friend Drew Schott. He just wants to know, what was it like playing Lewis? He wants to know what the experience was like.
You say hi to Elijah. How you doing? And being Lewis was awesome. It was like the most fun because he's like, oh man, he's like a golden retriever mixed with like a kid who's like a pleasure to have in class.
Yes.
That's good.
And that's why you played Lewis.
And it's just like, one thing I love about Lewis is like he sees the light in all the dark. Like anytime, and it's also from an insecurity standpoint of like, I can't handle being like sad for a second, so let's just groove time now. Right. And which, you know, for long term isn't the greatest. So you got to deal with your things, but that is a great attitude to have, you know, because you can't wallow in that stuff too much, and to find that silver lining is really inspiring. So I really enjoyed playing Lewis.
That's
and
great.
I still do every day.
So next, I have a question that said that the person thought that you guys really were sisters in the movie, and they want to know, if an upcoming project, would you consider playing sisters again? Because they thought you guys acted so natural together as sisters. So, like to respond to that? Either one?
Yes. But seriously, that means so much. Megan and the truth is, like, no, we're not sisters, but by golly, it's like we were made to be together. So it feels like we're really sisters. So speaking for me, yes, would love to play sisters with Megan for any and every project if I can. Yeah. Next.
I'll agree. Yes.
That's
I will
nice.
play Anna's sister anytime.
Well, let me flip the coin a little bit. So Owen and Drew, you really are brothers, and you know, obviously having to play brothers, would you do it again?
If they didn't play brothers in the movie.
Oh, that's right. You didn't play brothers. It was the opposite. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, you didn't play brothers, but you are brothers. So again, if you had a chance to play brothers or not play brothers again, would you guys work together again? That's all I'm asking, really. So
I'd work with him. Great guy to work with. Like I just like off camera and on camera. He's a great partner to work with. That's awesome. Like I would ask for a second chance to work with him if I could, because he's great.
That's great. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Drew.
Oh, just Owen is the best.
Yeah, that's great.
I can't. Yeah, he's so cool and nice, and I miss him. We're not in the same room. That's why we're in two different screens.
Yeah.
But he's so cool.
That's great.
I like working with him, and I you know, every time I watch Drought, I'm just like, it's so cool that I get to like see a thing with me and my brother. We're sitting in the yeah, we did that.
That's got to be really. I would imagine that would be really exciting. So that's great. I'm glad. Really awesome. You guys had that experience. So, Chris, another question?
Yeah. So somebody was asking, during the editing process, how much did the film change, or did it basically what was in the script and what you guys acted? That was pretty much it. They were just curious if it changed any or a lot in the editing process.
That's a good question. You know, it's funny. So as far as like cutting scenes completely, there was only one scene that was like a short montage scene where essentially Sam's like, Mom, where's Mom? That was cut because we're like, we don't really need that. Mm-hmm. But then of course, like in the editing process, it's interesting. We would notice, in a scene, we'd be like, and we would get a note, like an ADR line needs to be added here, or in that same scene someone would say, I think you need to cut this line. So it was interesting. It would be the difference I would make, either, you know, cutting a line or adding a line in, really changed the dynamic of the scene. Mm-hmm. Megs, what do you think?
Yeah, but overall, other than cutting that line and those little fine tweaks, it was pretty close to this script. It was pretty followed the script really closely. And I think that's cool and exciting.
Yeah. How long was the whole process from writing the film to eventually getting it made? Kind of what was the duration there?
Sure. We started in August of 2015, and the film was finished this time last year.
Okay.
4 years.
4 years.
So 4 years from starting the process to now. And then it's been a year of like submitting to festivals and starting the festival. So, yeah.
Chris, is there another question?
Yes, and I apologize to the person who posted. I'm gonna tweak it just slightly, and I'm gonna actually ask it to all of you. So if you want to, whatever order I guess you want to do it in, but they were asking what was the most memorable part of making the film. So I don't know if you want to choose a scene that you specifically enjoyed the most, but and if you want to say, yeah, what Owen said or what, that's fair. But I guess just Drew, let's start with you. Like, what was kind of like a scene that you just really stood out to you that you enjoyed doing?
Oh man, that is a good question. I'm without being like the first thing I'm thinking of is like when we filmed the final shot of the film when we pull up and then it's that nice sunset. It was such a beautiful day too when we did that. The weather was amazing, and and we weren't done obviously we shot out of order, so it wasn't like we ended on the last day with the last scene, but it was a time that I was just reminded. I was like, man, we're really doing something. Like we're making a movie. Not only are we just having fun, this is just like so cool, and that was I think you could see it in all our faces. Yeah. That's why I really like that last scene. It's like you can just see us all just be like, yeah, this is great. Yeah. We're in it.
Fair enough. Owen, do you have a favorite scene that kind of sticks out to you?
Well, I think I enjoyed most like the whaley scenes. I'd say I think those days I felt the most proud of that I did. I liked working with everyone there. I mean, of course, one was missing, but scene partners and crew and like everything how set up, and I kind of really am proud of like what I did those days and how it turned out. I think turned out well for all this.
Cool. That's great. That's awesome. All right, Hannah.
Gosh, I mean, both of those answers are so great. When you did knock it out of the park in those whaley scenes, gosh. So this is gonna sound random. There's a scene where Megan and I are okay. I'll just say the driving scenes in general. If I can just like give a blanket statement, those scenes were so difficult to shoot. All four of us are in all of them, which was, I don't know, there's something magical that happened when all four of us are in the scene together, and especially in that truck in particular. There's a movie hanging off of the car. One of us is driving. There's like 5 crew members in there along with us. There's no air conditioning. It's so hot, y'all. It is so hot. I can't even describe to you. The bugs in this town are ginormous. I don't know what they're feeding them, but they're huge. Like, it was just such a challenge, but so fun. And we finished our driving scenes with the scene that Drew was talking about at the end. That was like at the end of the day. And it was this feeling of like, we just did the hardest stuff for the past 2 days. And we did block shooting, which is when you like shoot 3 scenes in a row on this side, and then you go back and you shoot those 3 scenes in a row this way with the camera this way. And it was just so challenging. And we did it. And we were so positive, and we still love each other afterwards. So I think those.
Yeah, that's great. Good.
Yeah.
And then Megan?
Oh, I'm left. Wow, I was sitting here just remembering when everyone was speaking and thinking, I think this is the one that pops into my mind. I will not cry when I say it, or I will, but we were getting ready. We had to take a 2-month hiatus because Hurricane Florence was headed towards our town. And it was the last day of the first block of shooting. So we were on day 12. We were all pretty tired. And we were shooting one of the most like pinnacle scenes of the movie where they have the big fight behind the motel. And I think it's one of my favorite memories just as a friend of Hannah's and Owen's. It was a big scene for them, a really hard scene, because not only is it just a tough scene to do, a fight scene like that, but it's also a hurricane is coming.
Mhm.
So there's pressure. And I was just so proud to see everyone, but especially the two of them, and on that day, to just be a friend and be a director, watching that scene happen was really magical.
That
And it was really
awesome.
hot.
Yeah, it was really hot. Yes, we pick up on that. So I'm going to jump in here just real quick, if it's okay. So I don't know, and I hope everybody who's watched the film understands that this is all shot in North Carolina. Is that correct? Like all in North Carolina. I know several of you are in Wilmington based now. Maybe
We're
tell
all
me.
Wilmington.
All in Wilmington right now. Okay, perfect. So all in Wilmington. You shot all in North Carolina as well, and then Hannah and Megan, you two have acted, but this is your first time directing. Is that right?
Yes. Also, let's just get real. Acting in roles this substantial. Usually we would get like a more bacon or a your name, sir. Grateful for them. But it's very different from, so yeah.
Okay, so not only a big leading role, first time doing that, but also, of course, the directing as well. Which do you feel like doing the acting and directing together? Did that help the process? Did you find that to be a lot more challenging? I'm just kind of curious how I've heard different stories from different people who play that role. I'm just curious how it worked out for you guys.
Yeah, I think when at first it wasn't our plan to direct. I think we thought we would bring someone else in to direct it. And after talking with several people and getting some mentorship, we realized we'd been with the project for, at that point, 3 years. And we knew the story and had the vision, and that we did have the ability to jump into these roles, even though it was really scary and we felt a little bit like imposters. So Hannah and I did so much research about, like, we did crash courses for ourselves in directing.
Oh, wow.
But I think one of the things that is interesting is, since we'd gone through that Meisner program and we have been acting a while, and we both tape people for auditions, we'd had some experience, more than we thought, on coaching people or directing and seeing what a scene should be. So it worked out.
Yeah, and it seems like there's a little more of a natural actors making really great directors. I think because, like what you just described, Megan, it's a little bit this idea of you've kind of been in the shoes of the actors. You know how to help the motivation and to kind of give them the semblance. I would imagine it'd probably be difficult to go the other direction, to be a director for so long and then try to step in the shoes of an actor would probably be a little bit more challenging, I would imagine. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Chris?
Yeah, I found it a little challenging once I had been in. I had a little bit more of like a directing hat during production because there were some scenes at the beginning of the movie I'm not in.
Right.
And I think I found it interesting to then hop into a scene and take off the director hat. So I could see if that was your main role as a director, it would be a challenge to pop in as an actor. Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're great. That's great. Chris, we have another question.
Yes. So, and this will kind of go around the cast as well because it was addressed to the cast. And whoever wants to go first, I guess, jump in. But what movie, can you name a movie that inspires you and why? Somebody wants to know that. So, I don't know who wants to go first. Megan went last time, so I say she has to go first this time. So everybody else can have time to think. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Megan.
Oh man, I always go to Big Fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Love that movie.
You're talking our language there, Megan. So we're big fans of Big Fish.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah. Go ahead.
I love it. It is so inspiring because just the story of someone's life is so much more than what is on the surface, and I think it's really interesting to also, just from an art standpoint, to incorporate whimsical moments with really grounded reality. So. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
Who was next? We're going around the room. We're going around.
Well, I put Megan on the spot, so I don't know. Let's do Drew. We'll mix it up a little bit.
Rack my brain. I got two.
Good.
Two of my favorite most inspiring movies are Toy Story 2 and Stop Making Sense, just the talking heads movie.
Wow, nice choice.
And that is like same thing what you were saying, that Big Fish is like, it's kind of, it's everything that a movie could be, it's everything in one thing. And that's what Stop Making Sense feels like. Like it's non-verbal. Yeah, I mean, it is verbal because they're singing, but I feel like it's like a movie you could show to anyone, anywhere, and they'd be like, yeah, this rules. This made me feel.
That's great. Very nice.
That's cool.
All right. Owen, did you have a favorite film or a film that you like a lot?
Well, if I had to pick one film, I would have to say Godspell, to be honest. I think that's a great movie. I think it's, it's like beautifully shot. It's like all around New York. It's like, it incorporates a lot of genres of musical. It's like comedy, but also get really serious. I think it really ties together. It's like you can, like, even if you're not religious, you can really enjoy the movie. It's like great. It's like a tight hour 45.
Tight hour. Movie doesn't drag.
That would be my number one movie to go, I think.
That's awesome.
That's a great choice. All right, and then Hannah, we got to come back up to you.
I know this is a hard question. I know I'm probably later going to be like, oh, I should have thought of this one. But the initial one that came to my head, I go to this one a lot, is Billy Elliot.
Okay.
I saw that movie, I think when I was in 5th grade, and it really influenced me as a kid. And perhaps because Billy was around the same age, but I just love that movie so much because there is something about capturing the perspective of a kid, but so grounded, and it reminds you of what it's like to have these hopes and dreams and just this feeling of passion inside. And it's so funny and so freaking sweet and endearing. I love the way it's shot. And who doesn't love a good sports dramedy? You feel like you can do the thing. You're cheering them on. You see them dancing down the street. And I just love the message of that story about accepting who you are and accepting who other people are, which I feel like Drought has a lot of that. And I just really feel like that movie shaped me a lot as a kid. I saw it at a very, I guess, what's the word? I don't know, influential age.
Yeah.
So
impressionable.
Yeah, impressionable. Thank you. I was like, I can't find the word.
Yeah. I'm here to help you out, Hannah. That's it. So we're good.
Appreciate that because I lost it. Billy Elliot.
We all kind of said a musical. I know Big Fish isn't a musical, but it does feel like one to me. It is very flamboyant, and isn't it a musical now? Didn't they make it one?
I think they did make it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
We all kind of.
All right, Chris, I want to make sure we catch up on some questions for anybody that may have.
Sure. So we have a question. How did you guys secure funding to make this film?
Yes. I don't know why.
Very carefully. Yeah.
Meg and I are who's going to answer? So when we finished the script, we found Seed and Spark, which is a filmmakers or a crowdfunding platform for filmmakers by filmmakers. We raised funds through there, and we won this crazy competition that also we got a no interest loan from the Duplass brothers. What? Weird. And they came on as our executive producers. Then we also got some amazing grants from some amazing people like Footcandle. And then
we did a second crowdfunding.
And we did a second crowdfunding after the hurricane hit because, you have contingency money, but nobody plans for hurricane contingency money because, it's a little crazy. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. Chris?
Yep. And this is, somebody just asked, why did you set this film in 1993? They were just wondering.
If we can be honest, originally when written, it was we don't want to deal with technology. We don't want to deal with cell phones. This is a road trip. Forget the technology because then it's all these obstacles that they come up with. Well, they can call Uber. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, you lose that wonder, after whenever computers and cell phones were made, late 90s. So early 2000s. So that, But then also after it was kind of a happy accident. We decided on 1993, and then we found out that historically in 93, the South was experiencing a very bad drought simultaneously while the West was dealing with a massive record of supercells and tornadoes. So it kind of was a happy accident, but yeah.
Okay.
And anything else?
That actually, yeah, go ahead, Megan.
And also on the subject of autism, not as much was known, and there wasn't as much awareness about autism spectrum disorders. And so I think that helped in the story for people, that the characters they meet along the way who didn't understand Carl as much. And now, thank goodness, there's so much awareness and acceptance, and that's really one of the big messages of our film that we want people to know too.
Great. That makes good sense. Yeah. Chris?
Yeah, this is just a general comment and kind of a praise for the entire cast and, you guys as directors and writing the script. But I like how no one really had all the answers. You kind of divvied it out so that way, Lewis is an outsider. He sees things that maybe the sisters are being a little harsh sometimes or something. But then the sisters are one's been there trying to take care of Carl. The other one hasn't been, but when she comes in, she's like, yeah, however, you might consider you're not. It's like, just like in society, no one has all the answers. And it was kind of a nice puzzle to see how, things fit together. So that just a general compliment there. I thought that was nice.
Thank you. That means so much, truly.
I had a question for Owen and Drew. So we already talked about Hannah and Megan, had some background in acting, and then they jumped in the director's chair. So kind of your guys' background. So Owen, I think I remember reading, this is the first film you've been a part of. Was that correct? Okay, so tell me about that experience. How was it like being the first time, and do you have any desire to now do any more acting?
Well, yeah, I took taking a bunch of acting classes over the years, and it was kind of like a stem cells, I think Hannah Megan put a chance in that able to get the movie. I think, if I had the opportunity, I would continue with acting.
Wonderful. That's great.
Whenever I can, I continue taking acting classes now. Like I take Megan's. That's a week.
Perfect. Well, you did great in the film, so that's wonderful. Drew, you've been in some other work right now, right?
Mm-hmm. I same thing where I was taking a lot of acting classes when we were younger, and then when I moved to North Carolina, then I got an opportunity to meet with our agent, and then I started working in Atlanta for a little bit.
Okay.
And that was really cool. And I don't think without that definitely helped get me Drought.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Because it was right, kind of. No? Oh, wow.
You're so good.
Cool.
I mean, maybe for you personally, you felt that way, but I
was just well, it's only because I was in the things, but I was like, thank goodness I was in those things because now I get to do this thing.
Oh.
Great. You got it. Yep, Chris.
So, got another question for Drew. What was it like playing Oscar in Halloween? Somebody wants to know what that was like.
Oh, yeah.
And just a little background, I guess we should say real quick.
Sorry.
So Drew was in the latest Halloween movie, the one that just came out in 2018, I believe. So sorry, just want to make sure everybody knew that.
Yeah, Oscar is kind of like Oscar's like if Oscar and Lewis met, Lewis would be like, oh no. I don't know about this guy. We're I think people would group because it's they're both kind of like a wild energy, but Oscar's out there, man. And but that was a really fun experience in South Carolina. I met a lot of really great friends on that shoot, and that was such a great magical time. That was also terrifying. Instead of it being hot, like Drought, it was super hot, and then in Halloween it was just everything's just scary. So much scary things everywhere. It's oh. I never even thought about that before. Now I know about this. Now it's a nightmare.
Oh, God.
That's great. That's really good. All right, Chris, are there any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Got a couple more minutes here that you can do.
Just kind of like a final question, I guess. What was the last? And I'll ask it. You guys can answer it. And then I don't know if you want to go around the table or not, or around the screen. What was the last scene that was actually shot? And then how did that feel? So if you remember way back when you actually, what was the last thing you guys actually shot?
So the last thing, wait, what?
I think it'll be different for like Owen's last scene
True.
and Drew's last scene will be different than our. Do y'all remember what Owen wrapped before Drew, right?
Owen was first. What was your last thing, Owen?
My last day was it was like when we arrived at the motel and like we were getting out of the car. That was the last one. It was like the shot. We were walking out. I grabbed my backpack and then walked out the door. That was like the last.
Oh, wow.
One.
You're literally walking out the door. You're out of there.
Wow.
I think my last day, I'm probably confusing it a little bit, but I think, I think this is the last day. It was when we were also at the hotel, we had the shoot after the storm, and it was, we're looking for Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Right after, it's the morning and we can't find him. And I'm like, yeah, he's probably fine. And I think that was my last day.
Okay.
It was. You're right. Oh my gosh, that's crazy to think. So Megan and I, obviously our last day was together.
Mm-hmm.
The last scene, Megan, what was the last scene that you shot that you were in?
I don't remember because I just remember the final.
The very final shot.
Yeah.
Y'all, the final shot is so funny. It's when the final shot is the clock changing times in the motel.
That was your final. That was the final shot.
Yes, and I'm laying in the bed. It was very weird because I was like laying in the bed because they needed like my hand to look at the thing, and everyone, because it was the last shot, everyone was like surrounding me in the bed. I felt like they were saying goodbye, or I don't know. Felt very weird. And anyway, that was it.
Wow.
That was the last shot.
Last shot.
But it was actually very emotional in this weird way because, at least for me, I got to like look at all these people while I'm laying in bed, watching everyone that has like touched this project, and so.
Well, guys, we're running close to the end of time here, but I did want to kind of toss over just one last kind of question to you guys. I want to know what all you're doing or working on, or do you have anything in the plans going forward? I know it's kind of been a weird year, and I'm sure plans have probably been affected to some degree for everybody, but just love to hear kind of what you're doing now or what you are looking to do here before too long. Got anything going on? Who jump in? I'll let whoever wants to go first can go first. There's Drew. Okay.
Since I am not in part of the elephant in the room is I am not in the room with Owen. Normally we were in the same room, but I am currently up in Philadelphia. Resuming, there's a project up here. I have a small role in a show called Mayor of Easttown. A very small role, but it's very fun. It's going to be really great whenever it happens. But yes, that's resuming. That will come out.
All right, Drew, I don't want to bring up a sore subject. I know there are 2 more Halloween sequels coming up. Did your character make it out of the first one? No, so you're done.
Not at all.
Okay, I saw it, but I could. It's been a couple years, and I've slept since then, so I just wasn't sure if you made it or not. So I'm sorry.
I mean, if Mike Myers can come back, why can't Drew? I mean, that's the thing.
I kept pitching ghosts. I kept emailing David. I was like, listen, this is a spooky world, and ghosts are spooky.
Absolutely.
Great. All right.
Which is weird, but
Who else? Anybody else have anything going on or any projects they want to talk about they're working on now?
Owen, do you?
What are you doing right now?
Yeah, I'm just taking classes at UNC. That's I'm doing that online this year, of course, but doing that. I'm taking classes with Megan too. I'm probably gonna keep doing that. Great.
Hey, Owen, what UNC are you taking classes from? What school?
At UNC Wilmington.
Okay, that's right. I should have just guessed that. My brother graduated from UNC Wilmington. That's a great school.
What are you majoring in, Owen?
I'm majoring in film studies. So.
Awesome. That's great.
Currently, I'm not taking a film studies class, but I have to be there for it.
That's awesome.
That's wonderful. Good luck with that. I'm sure that'll go great. So, Megan, Hannah, anything you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we're trying, we're doing the thing with Drought. And then we have some other projects that we're starting to create new stories and stuff like that. So we have a Southern Gothic thriller that very different from Drought, except for being Southern. So we're working on that. And I don't know. Who knows? And of course, we're writing reels for ourselves. My gosh.
Why not?
Sure, absolutely.
Yes, and we're just trying to continue to get the word out there about Drought. We'll figure out, hopefully, by the end of next year, hopefully by the end of this year,
Right.
early next year, it will hopefully get distribution or we'll self-distribute it. And so wonderful festivals like this really help us with that because the audience that's here, you can help by just like following us on social media. Drought the movie is what we are everywhere. Or if you liked the film, to rate it on IMDb and give us a little shout out. Really, really goes a long way. And we want to meet you too. Like we want to connect since we can't be there in person.
Well, I forgot to mention with the local connection. So Megan, you reminded you're from Lincolnton, right? I mean, just down the road from Hickory here. So
That's awesome.
Yes, that's where I got my acting start. The Lincoln Cultural Center. So
Awesome.
yeah, just down the road, and we'd come to Hickory to hang out.
That's great. Nice connections there. Well, wonderful. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've kept you a good long while here, and we really do appreciate you all joining us for this. I think everybody that we've talked to so far really enjoyed the film today, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people watching it throughout the festival weekend as well. And we just want to say thank you to Owen, to Drew, to Megan, and Hannah for all being here and representing Drought. And thank you for letting us have the film as part of the festival and letting our film society be a part of it in the production as well. We're really, really proud of it. So that's great.
Thank you. We're so appreciative of y'all and allowing Drought to open the festival. We're super honored. Seriously.
Wonderful. All right, great. Thank you all very much. And this is Alan and Chris signing off tonight. And we will look forward to seeing everybody throughout the rest of the festival. We've got live discussions going on after every one of our screening sessions throughout the weekend. So we've got the Visiting Writers Series script writing event going on tomorrow night. That's at 7 o'clock. That is a live event. It's free. You don't need a ticket for it. Just hop in. We've got 2 great screenwriters who have won awards this year from the Visiting Writers Series at Lenoir University. So they're going to be here joining us virtually tomorrow night, and also a couple of presentations from that. So you can hear all about the screenwriting process, that very early process that I know Hannah and Megan know quite well at this point, I'm sure. And but we'll get to hear from them in that competition. And then, of course, the films all, our live discussions of the films all start Friday. And we'll be running films all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But of course, you can watch the films anytime you want to because technology, and it's great. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. Again, thanks to the cast and crew of Drought. Give a good wave, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight, and I hope you have a great rest of the festival. Take care.
Thanks, guys.